Hi, and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal, still on the holidays. They just knocked the door asking about room service. I said, nah, I've got another service to do, Transfer Daily. Let's get straight into it. It looks like Arsene Wenger, well, he's admitted it's going to be another last-minute raid on the transfer market, if at all. His quotes yesterday were, "I'm always confident that a last-minute solution is available." It looks like he sort of even tripped himself up a bit there, where he said he's always confident of a last-minute solution or a solution. It's going to be lastminute.com by Arsene Wenger, and I've just found it very disappointing, this transfer window. I mean, I looked at the Champions League draw yesterday, and I think it's been quite kind to us, but Bayern Munich, obviously, one of the best teams in Europe, we're going to be coming up against them. Now, even though they won their league very easily, Bayern Munich, they've still strengthened. They've still gone out there and bought players. They've still gone out there and bought Douglas Costa. They've still gone out there and bought Arturo Vidal. We've only so far bought Cech, and we didn't even win our league. And if you look at a lot of the top teams across Europe, even Barcelona, who won the treble, have gone out and strengthened. They bought Arda Turan, even though they're not even allowed to buy players. So why is it that Arsenal are leaving everything down to the last minute? Which means maybe they might get a bargain, maybe they might get a player, or they may get nobody. Now, if we don't strengthen, how do we expect to win the title if we don't strengthen? We don't need much. We know we've got a very good team. We don't need much. But how do you expect to win the title if you don't just add those couple of players? I don't know. I'm not getting it at all, this transfer window. But anyway, listen, let's get into the players that we have been linked with today. Again, today we are getting linked with Edinson Cavani. Cavani, listen, he's always going to get linked with Arsenal because there's been this thing hanging over Cavani for ages now about him coming to Arsenal. But we're linked to Cavani again today. And it's that website again, fijages.com. They're saying now that Cavani himself may be willing to force through a move that gets him over to Arsenal. Because at the moment, do PSG really want to sell him? We know we've heard all these rumours that, you know, he's unhappy there and this and that. But do PSG, who of course they got their group as well yesterday in the Champions Haven't they got Real Madrid? So are they really going to want to sell one of their very best players in Edinson Cavani? You know, I mean, that to me starts to look very doubtful. But, you know, we're being told that Cavani is still a player that Arsenal are very interested in trying to bring in before the end of the transfer window. I think that's going to be very difficult. Particularly, I think today we're being linked with Julian Draxler, who, of course, a few seasons ago, as I've documented several times on the show, because he has been linked quite a few years, £5 million plus. Moving on from there, he's had a lot of injuries, hasn't been able to get going really, but the talent is still there. He's still a top player. At the time, we were even being told that we could convert him into a striker. He can also play on the left, which, let's face it, that's been a bit of a problem for Arsenal. So Draxler would only cost Arsenal about 21, 22 million pounds. However, there are other clubs looking at him right now. Wolfsburg are one of those clubs. They're about to sell De Bruyne to Manchester City. Manchester City are about to pay huge money for De Bruyne, by the way, huge wages, but they know they've got to pay over the odds if they're going to get this guy, and they're prepared to do that to let it happen. So Draxler is being very, very heavily linked with a move to Arsenal. I think that is a player that realistically Arsenal could bring in. They could bring in Julian Draxler. Whether it's be a sort of signing to get everybody excited, I don't know. I think I would be excited if Arsenal bought in a Draxler. I think that would be a positive signing. It'd be a risky signing, but it'd be a positive signing. And it is a player that potentially can become a world-class player. But again, we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that. Wenger might be looking at it and thinking we just got so many players across that midfield and he's not the answer to our striking, and may not get him. But Draxler, young, available, for me, it's a no-brainer. Denis Cherchiev also is another player that we're heavily linked with all summer. Cherchiev again today is said to be the player that Arsenal is looking at as one of those last-minute.com signings that he's looking to make. He's, of course, a Real Madrid player, but he spent last season on loan at Villarreal. He's a very, very good player. Left winger again, not a striker. There's just not the strikers out there at the moment of the real world-class quality that Arsenal require. They're not available at the moment. Let's face it. Benzema's turned us down. Higuain's looking very expensive to deal with. And, of course, Cavani may not be possible. So, Cherchiev, again, another forward option that Arsenal look at. No defensive midfielders propping up in the rumours today. Again, I just think those are the two spots in which Arsenal need to fill. It's getting very, very frustrating. And as I said, when I looked at the Champions League draw yesterday, Bayern Munich, Olympiacos, Dynamo Zagreb, yes, we probably get through in our usual second place in that group. It's not too bad a group, but we want to be trying to win the Champions League. And if you look at Bayern Munich's team in comparison to ours right now, without us strengthening it, let's be 100% honest. We are not better than them. We are not going to beat them to win the Champions League. You know, we're not going to progress further than them with the team that we got. We must strengthen. And I think it's a poor excuse if we do end up on deadline day and we don't sign anybody to say, oh, nobody world-class was available. Because as I said, Bayern have strengthened with Costa, Douglas Costa, and they've strengthened also with Vidal. So why can't we strengthen? Maybe listen, we got to wait until Tuesday to see the outcome of things, but I'm getting very, very frustrated. I must admit, I really, really am. Let's see what you guys have had to say. Victor Koyama says, Higuain isn't any better than Giroud. Remember, I asked a question yesterday, would you have Higuain? Higuain's a player that we've been linked with. Victor's not very happy. He doesn't think that Higuain's the answer. Ibu Carr says, I think Arsenal should sign Thomas Muller and a CDM such as Paul Pogba, Nemanja Matic or others. That would be a really good signing to help this season. I think you're in dreamland, mate. There's no way we're going to get Thomas Muller. There's absolutely no way now, especially like how Bayern have drawn us in the Champions League, that they would give us Muller. That's Matic, no way would we get him. Pogba, no way would we get him. All three of those targets, totally unrealistic. Okpo Lee says Cavani or Higuain. So two that is possible gettable. So what we're hearing, and again, to move those players, we're going to have to spend over the odds. Are we prepared to do that? And for me, as is being proved at the moment by Manchester City, to get the players that you really want, you may have to spend over the odds. Let's go to Sammy215. He said, Higuain is better than Giroud, mainly because he's more clinical than Giroud. He runs at defenders. Giroud neither gets behind them or runs at them. He just holds the ball up. But a lot of Giroud's work goes unnoticed. Most noticeably is defensive work. And then you have his link-up play, which brings others into play. Higuain can be very lazy. Higuain is better than nothing, though. But he isn't world-class, something Arsenal don't have up front. Aguero, and he says, I'm not being negative, but these are the facts. I think we've got no chance in the title race if we don't sign one of these type of players. And I think he's right. Listen, I think Higuain will be a good addition to Arsenal's team because he is a goal scorer. he has played at the highest level, and I've got no doubt in the Premier League that Higuain would score a lot of goals. He would be a serious threat if you had him up front. Same with Cavani. Same with if he was able to get somebody like a Benzema. But are we going to get one of these over the line? It's last minute Wenger, I'm afraid. It's lastminute.com. We've seen it too often over the years, and it's happening again. And he's admitted it again yesterday that he's looking to do it last minute. And for me, unless he pulls off something big, it's not acceptable that a massive club like Arsenal are gambling everything on trying to pull in players on the last day. As I said, I'm going to be patient. We're doing this all summer, so I may as well wait for the next few days to see what turns up. Thanks for watching. Again, in the comments, thank you very much for all the comments you guys have been leaving. Let us know players that you think in the last minute we might be able to get in at Arsenal to help us to at least win the league.